Hey everyone, welcome back to Historical Quarrels. I'm your host, Tyler Eckhardt. And today, we're going to be going over nothing really. We're going to be having a conversation about the channel, about the podcast itself, and the current future as to, like plans. Also, we're just celebrating 52 episodes being released, or essentially a year's worth of content making. So if you want to listen to this episode, stick around for that. If not, this might be one to skip. So thank you guys. You are listening to Historical Quarrels. So as mentioned, today's episode is not going to be going over anything. I know last episode I said I was planning on doing the Alexander the Great battle, the one he did at Maedi, while his dad was out and about, but I couldn't find enough details about the battles that happened there. Just more like he went to that place and then he took it over sort of deal, which happens a lot with Alexander the Great. It's just he went over, he conquered this place, and they don't give a lot of descriptive details about the battle. So decided to forego that in lieu of celebrating 52 episodes, or a year, technically like a year's worth of content making. Though this channel has been, or podcast has been up for over a year, almost 2 now. I had a long break between some episodes. Matter of fact, it was between my Alexander the Great episode and then my the episode that I came back with, which I can't remember right now. But so what I want to talk about today is the future plans for Historical Quarrels, and where we're at, how far we come, and how I'm feeling. I think it's just gonna be more or less just like a journal check-in for myself. And I know a lot of people are like, fuck you, I don't care about you. I'm like, okay, cool, but it's my show, damn it. If I want to make a little journal entry, I can make a journal entry. That's why I'm not going to be trying as hard today to do like editing or a bunch of other stuff. So if some stuff kind of slips in here and there, just cut me some slack. I'm getting ready to go on vacay with my fam. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into, how far we've come. I kind of wanted to go over like the episode lists, kind of talk about, what I remember from recording this episode. So we're going to start with episode 1, which is Xerxes versus everyone. It's my first episode ever of doing this podcast, and it is terrible. Oh man, I went back and listened to it, and my God, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just like, okay, I gotta try to be funny, so I gotta write this here, and then I gotta make like this joke about penises, which, I mean, like, I still make dick jokes, but who cares? I don't know. It just felt more forced instead of just like, where now I just kind of feel like I'm having a conversation. I just say those things just because like that is how I am in real life. If you meet and talk to me, that's just how I'm gonna be. But yeah, I have it uploaded as my episode 1, and I still have it there primarily because I don't want it to be something where I feel like I have to go and fix it. I am doing this show primarily out of, one, I have a need to be like creative and to do something like this, and I want to show people how far I've come. And man, this episode had like, let's see, 32 total downloads. Oh man, it was so bad. But yeah, so Xerxes versus everyone, y'all. If you ever want to go back and listen to something real bad, go ahead and check that out. But it's not that I'm not proud of it. I'm proud that I went ahead and did it, and like I pulled the trigger, and that's what I'm proud of. The episode itself is the content. I mean, like I typed out everything. Oh man, I put in so much work. I had like pictures and stuff in my Google Sheets that I use for like my script keeping. And I put in, I remember I put in a lot of work to like researching and typing up everything. And oh man, I remember what I titled it as Xerxes the First, a tale of a petty ass bitch. And this is just based off of like a story that I had learned about Xerxes where he whipped the ocean because he was mad at it. And I definitely didn't do enough deep diving into it. I had like a Westerner mindset when it came to Xerxes, and that's one thing I regret. And I did fix later on when I talked about we'll get into the episode later, but I did try again later. I feel like I did better. Okay, and then moving on to the second thing I released. It's called Random Tangents, and this never took off. Never kind of really became anything. I was planning on having it be like a Patreon thing, but episode 1 was animal fuckers. So bestiality in human history and the exploration of that, and like, why it happened, when it was banned, when it was outlawed. But I discovered some crazy facts about all, how Babylon was like, yeah, no, that shit's bad. We shouldn't be allowing that. And basically every other civilized nation didn't even think about banning it, really. So I don't know. That one was kind of funny. It's a little silly. This is back again when I had like a super shitty mic too. Just, when you're starting out, it's what you work with what you got. So okay, then we go into the true episode 2 of Historical Quarrels, which the pastry war, which was an interesting episode. I feel like that one had a bit more research into it that was done. But I don't know. I don't remember a lot from that. I remember some like French dude got mad in Mexico and then basically wrote to the king in France. And then France was like, yo, yeah, I'll go fuck you guys. I'll go fuck up Mexico. We need some money. So that's why that happened. And then we have the Nika riots, learning about some chariot racing, some like good old NASCAR, but like back in the, back in the Greek and Roman days, which is really cool. Yeah, ancient NASCAR, political, theological, West Side Story riots, conquer, conquer, conquer. Man, I was great with those episode descriptions back then. We had the Pig War. Pig War was that was a fun one. That was another good one. So yeah, that gosh. Man, like sometimes when I think about like some of these like really early episodes, it's just hard for me to like comprehend why I did some stuff. Then we have the AKO Vendetta, which is the one based off of the 47 Ronin. That Keanu Reeves did a weird fantasy movie adaptation of, and so that was interesting. The Campbells and the McDonald's, and this is the first episode that I really started to feel like I did like a really good job on, where I put like a bunch of work into the research, a bunch of work into writing, and I feel like I started to come into my own with the show and figuring it out, because I was definitely worried of like coming across as just like a great value brand of other history shows or other history comedy shows, and I don't want to be a great value brand. I want to be the Tyler brand. I want it to be the Historical Quarrels brand. And then we had the Albasis War, which was fun. I thought that was cool. This is back when I also was still thinking about doing like co-hosts and stuff. And so then we have Hook and Newton, part 1 and part 2, which was also like, I feel like that one was kind of fun. It's when I started like kind of playing around with a lot more stuff, and playing around with like how my joke writing, my joke style. And then we have the War of the Roses, parts 1, 2, and 3. Oh man, that was a lot of European bullshit. And I feel like even after typing everything out and writing it all out myself, I still barely understood what was happening. Oh man, but those were fun episodes. let's see. And then we get to the Punic Wars. That was a good one. And then we get to Alexander the Great versus Persia, which is like my last episode before I ended up dipping for a little bit. And that's the episode that actually like popped off and like started getting, because like before that I was like at the 20 to 30 range for like downloads. And then that one got up to like 80. And I was like, whoa, people are like really liking that. Now it's published May 8th of 2023. And then my next episode wouldn't be until June, which is the fall of the Songhai Empire with like the cows and shit. The cow stampede. That was pretty cool. But yeah, and then after that, that's when I noticed like, oh, if I just like kind of keep it up and like keep doing what I'm doing, I'll do better. And so then we get to the fall of Sybaris, which was really cool. That was another fun one. Learning about how ancient Roman historians really didn't give a shit about being historically accurate at all. We had Big Sultan's Little Problems, which honestly I should have just been about like the it's about the Ottoman family, and primarily about oh my heck, what's his name? Starts with the but the guy who like raped and killed a bunch of his like concubines and stuff, and then he was only allowed to be sultan because like all of his other brothers were choked and like murdered before he became sultan. Then we had the War of the Bucket, the UK versus Ottomans, parts 1 and 2, the Astor Place riots, which I think that was another really good one where I did a pretty decent job on. Again, primarily just like the work I was able to put in. Then we had the Paraguayan War, another one with like my Napoleon shit that I was, his tiny nipples, rubbing his tiny nipples. Because the main guy in this Paraguayan War, he fancied himself to be the next Napoleon, and really thought like he was gonna be some hot shit. So I just like had him have some like dream sequences where he was like essentially about ready to fuck Napoleon, and that was I still chuckle to myself. Some of these jokes I wrote, it's like I chuckle to myself about them, you know. Then I did the Battle of Thermopylae, and that's where I feel like I fixed the Xerxes episode, or like kind of redid and talked about Xerxes in a much better way than I had before. So we did Tipu Tip, and I remember I was just like super busy with work, so I did not have enough time to do enough research, and like really delve all that deep into it. And so I feel like that episode suffered because of that. Definitely one where I was like, I'm going to do better. And then the Battle of Talus, I feel like it did a little better. Emperor Nero did really good. Constantine, Byzantine, and Irene, I feel like I did pretty good with all those episodes right there. Going over that little era, where really Emperor Nero, Constantine, Byzantine, and Irene were just kind of all part of like the same sect of establishing cyclical, what's it called? It's the cycle of, like when an abused population becomes essentially the abusers to its previous abusers. I can't remember what it's called. Whatever. But I essentially went over that concept of how like Christianity was definitely persecuted. Okay, yeah, the persecution cycle, where the Christians were persecuted by the pagans, and then after Constantine takes over, they start getting getting essentially back to like a normal status as like a citizen in the Roman Empire, and then they become the elite and they take charge. Or really, like some of the elite families just convert to Christianity and then decide to keep picking on the poor people. But this time it's the poor pagans instead of the poor Christians. So, and that's what happened. Is like essentially the reason why this cycle of abuse or like persecution happened is not necessarily just because Christians wanted revenge, but it's because some of the people who turned into Christians were already assholes to begin with. And so those families had kids, and those assholes became bigger assholes to other people. And so you just had the cycle of hatred as well. And there were some Christians who wanted revenge, obviously. But yeah, so it's just there always has to be a dominant power involved, and the person who's dominant is going to be, abusing someone else. And then we did the Dog of Montargis, which was fun. That was posted in October. That one I wrote while I was on a flight to summer camp, the Wet Hot Bad Magic summer camp, and that was that was a really good time. I had a lot of fun there. That one I don't know. I was having a lot of fun with it. It was another new concept or like new thing I was trying out. Then we did America's Origins. Oh man, this was a good one. This was me shitting on Puritans essentially, and talking about how some like old Puritan rivalries essentially transformed into like the Democratic and like Republican parties, and just like how those ideologies evolved over time from these Puritan and Catholic settlers who came in. And they just had like these contrasting ideas of like how things should be. Like you stay the course or you go against the grain, right? And I feel like those two core concepts have been around here in the U.S. since its inception, and I was just trying to point that out. The Revolutionary War, I continued that, and then also in America's Origins, I talked about space vampire William Bradford. He was becoming semi-reoccurring character on the show. Just because I thought it was a funny concept, and his Dark Lord Scrooby-Doo. Oh man, it's just silly. It's just silly, but it's fun. And then it all came to a head in the Civil War Part 1 and 2, and then we kind of went over some of the Democrats and Republicans and how the Democrats transitioned essentially away from being these racist slave-owning assholes into the more modern Democrats that we have today. And it was primarily because of Northern Democrats in the northern states becoming the majority, and the Republicans, in order to stay prominent, needed to go get the disenfranchised voters from the southern states who were racist. So the Republican Party and those in the Republican Party were like, hey, we have a whole bunch of voters we can get over here. And primarily thanks to Nixon. So Nixon went and did that. And then all these previously slave-owning and racist Democrats became Republicans. And that's where we get the kind of a switch or transition there. And then we did Chrisman Genimpertega, my biggest episode by far. My God, almost 1,000 views on YouTube, a couple thousand downloads overall. And holy shit, that was one that I did not think I did good on, to be very honest with you. I was like, I was having fun, having a good time with it. And, I sang some songs. I was like, and now the end is near. Did a really shitty German accent. I know it's shitty. The German caricature, essentially. My ancestry, I have some German in me, but it's primarily from Norway. So, Germany, I am sorry if I offended some Germans. It was just having fun at the expense of a serial killer that lived in what would later become Germany. So, hopefully I didn't offend you too bad. But my God, it's just weird how some episodes that you think, this will be fine, just pop off out of nowhere. And I don't know. It's just, man, I think after that episode, I got a little bit of like a high. I was like, holy shit, my show, it's starting to take off finally. I'm going to do something. Nah, it just turns out like that episode just hit the right button with like the algorithm. Just a lot of people wanted to learn more about them. And I ended up getting quite a few subscribers on YouTube from it. Not a ton. I'm currently sitting at like 34 subscribers, which is just fine. I'd like this. That's where a lot of people start off, and you got to slowly build. And I've only been doing this for, again, technically like 2 years, but really like with the amount of content. I have like a year's worth of activity. But in total, I've been doing YouTube for like a year. Is how I feel about it. And so, I've been kind of chasing that high a little bit, and that's when I was like, okay, maybe I gotta dip into true crime more. I guess. God damn it, because I don't. It's not that I don't like true crime. I just sometimes it feels a little. Mm, like you glorify the serial killer a bit too much. Or like the macabre interest in humans sometimes transitions from a natural curiosity into this kind of almost deep rooted obsession with it. And, they feel like, I don't know, in a weird way, it's either they relate to the victims and they sympathize. I don't know. Maybe I just feel too much empathy with the victims, and that's why I make jokes so that way I don't have to feel the empathy. And then when it's in the past, like the episodes I've done where it's just like, a few hundred years, there's not a whole bunch of details. You don't get the gory, like he raped this child and then killed them by beheading them. And like, I don't know, you don't have to like think about like, oh man, that parent, that dad, that mom must have just been devastated. Whereas in the past, it's like, yeah, they were probably sad, but they were also, probably more concerned about not dying on a regular basis than most people are today, And so it's just more almost expected in history for people to die like that. But, that's whatever. I digress. But anyways, yeah, that was by far my biggest episode. My best performing episode, and one that was immediately marked as explicit. So that's a good time, and it still gets downloads and views to like this very day, which is cool. A lot of my episodes usually just kind of fall off. I've noticed like after you main guys have listened to them, they just kind of they disappear, and that's normal. That's fine. But that one continually, more and more. I guess it just, again, people want to search up and listen and learn more about this guy. I definitely, because I think for the first 40 minutes, I talk about like what highway robbers were like during that time, where they were from, who they typically were. And a lot of them were just mercenaries hired by these kings or like the Pope to go and protect or like fight in like this war that's going on. And then I talk about the story and how like we just have like one pamphlet to verify those like potentially even real, and not a whole lot else to go off of. So talking about that was cool. Learning about it was cool. Again, the reason why I feel like it just wasn't as well done is because I couldn't get enough information about the serial killer. Then we had the legend of liver eating Johnson. Yeah, the legend of liver eating Johnson. That was a fun one. That was interesting. I did put a lot of work into that one as well, and I feel like that one overall I did a better job in terms of research, and like I put more work into way underperformed against Jeanette Ortega. And I think part of that's just because that episode was still riding off its high on the algorithm train, and so it was just not going to get as much. It was not going to get noticed. And the legend of liver eating Johnson was put into. It was essentially two parts, but like there was the part one kind of going over what like Mountain Men was, and then we had part two, which is talks about like his journey, him getting his revenge, and then his death. And then after that, I did the episode on Liu Pengli, the Han Dynasty serial killer, or potentially one of the first serial killers in history. That was done in two parts as well. Then I did the Brothers of Rome. Oh yeah, and then Liu Pengli also did not perform as well. So I just didn't partake because I was like, oh man, if I do true crime, but no, you gotta do very specific episodes of true crime and stuff that people are interested in, like looking up and reading in. Which I don't know. I'm not gonna do fucking the same shit that everyone else has talked about, like Ed Kemper or fucking all the other ones. the guy from Washington, Utah. What's his name? He like bit like some girls and stuff. Zac Efron played him. Why can't I remember his name? Whatever. And like again, stuff like that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not, and I don't want to, and I don't like doing that because I feel like everyone's done it, and I feel like the episodes that I do, I try to make it interesting and not and like stuff I wanna learn about and do, and not just what everyone else wants me to do. Then we have the Brothers of Rome. Another episode that I feel like I did get on, that I had a lot of fun with. And then we have the Historical Quarrels Christmas special, which was so fun, honestly. I essentially turned the plot of Metal Gear into like a Dr. Seuss rhyme. And I think I'm going to, instead of just like having it be a game that people play or, people like to listen, I'm just going to turn it into once a year, we're going to do like a fictional story. I'm going to try to translate the story of a video game or some work of fiction into a Dr. Seuss or Christmas story style rhyme. And that's my game plan for that. And I can't wait to do that for this next Christmas. Okay, then we did Roman Emperor Caracalla. That one was a lot of fun because it was kind of the continuation of the Brothers of Rome episode, just like towards the end of his life. Then we did the Game of Liu Bo, which is going to inspire a future channel, I've decided. Instead of just me posting like ancient board games on the Historical Quarrels channel, I'm going to start another channel that I'm planning on calling Ancient Tabletops. And I'll be going over old board games, like from history, how they were played, what rules they were done in, how popular they were, talk a little bit about the history, but mostly just kind of like, and it's going to be more of like a board game review channel, but for like in the past, about like how fun I think it would be. So I'm thinking about like, I'm still workshopping some ideas for like a rating system. Like, I give this 3 Roman, three Roman currency out of 5, or like I give this a fun. Is as fun as getting killed by the plague. Like I don't know. Just stuff like that. So I'm workshopping ideas for a rating system, and I have the first official episode more or less written up. Now I just need to get some equipment, some cameras, and because I'm going to really amp up the production quality for that channel. It's going to be, this one's going to be a lot more, well, they're both going to be research focused, but the other channel is going to be a lot more comedy, while still maintaining that like kind of like research or like intellectual aspect of it, but it's going to have a more of an emphasis on comedy. And what I've noticed with this show is people prefer the intellectualism over the jokes. That's fine. I may just because my humor is just not everyone's cup of tea, which, like it hurts hurts my feelings, but I feel like I also just need to, it takes time to write the jokes, and I just don't have that time to really put as much effort into joke making. And I was an improv captain in high school. My my one thing I talk about from high school still, like Uncle Rico. It's my one Uncle Rico-ism, I feel like, where it's like, see those mountains, I gotta throw that football over the mountains. But I try not let that get to me. But it's like I understand some concepts of like on the spot comedy, and some basic ideas for how it works. But you sometimes just want to be careful with like how you word or say things on the internet, so that way you don't come across as like, when you say what you mean what you say. It's you just gotta be careful when you're doing that. So, and then we had the Talens Valley Battle, another one where funny on YouTube, it did pretty good, and had some people comment be like, man, why you talking like about yourself and shit? Which is fair. That's fair. I get it. People don't want to hear me go yab about myself, which again, fair. I'm not gonna shit on people for saying that or feeling that way. That's it's a fair thing to feel with this show. Then we have the Battle of Megiddo. Another good one, kind of a short one. It was like 34 minutes, but I don't know, it was fun. I feel like it was a pretty good time. Then we got to the Trojan War. That one was interesting because we went over the mythos. Wikipedia actually did a pretty good job about like breaking down the Iliad and the Odyssey books. So that's when I just essentially used Wikipedia and I went through it. And so you have essentially like a cold read of, or like a hot read of the Wikipedia article. And again, a lot of that was also just, again, due to lack of time. And that was one thing I feel like the show has suffered from, is just when my job and just my life ends up making me so busy that I just can't work as hard as I'd like to on episodes. It definitely takes away from stuff. It takes away from like how well I'm able to make the show. I mean, like I barely have enough time to edit as is. Like after I usually record Sunday, so like the night before an episode is supposed to go out, and then I release the episode on Monday. And so that I spend Sunday recording. Sometimes, like this last one with Lavinia, I spend it typing up and finishing everything for it. Record, edit as much as I can in a reasonable time, so I can get back to my my family and take care of them, because I have kids and I got a wife. I don't expect my wife to just like have my kids all day. She's willing to do it, but kind of fucked. If it was an expectation. So sorry if there's a lot of air coming through. I'm just kind of a little stuffy. But yeah, then we had Sigmund Freud. That was one I feel like I did a decent job on. Worked on that. Got some information. Kind of went over just his life, and I loved AP Psych in high school, and I think it was really fun to explore that. Then we did the Battle of the 300 Champions. That was actually done pretty decent as well. A lot of people have liked that episode. I've gotten some good responses to that one. Then we did the Brooks McFarlane feud. Has not seemed to have actually gotten anyone's attention, not picked up on anyone's radar. Want to find then Lavinia Fisher, which most of you guys have already listened to. I'm assuming if you're following me, because that was a good one, I guess. And I kind of had a feeling that doing that episode was going to be moderately successful, because it's a highly searched term. There's not a ton of people talking about it. There was only like one fucking book on the subject that actually, like, where the guy went in and like pulled all the documents. So yeah, this is I feel like this is gonna be a pretty good one. And I feel like it was interesting. I feel like we did a pretty decent job on it, if I do say so myself. I need to go. My puppy is hollering. I think he needs to go potty, or he might want to just come up here. So we might have the doggo joining us today's episode. I don't know. I'm probably gonna edit this and be like, whatever. I probably won't. I'll be right back in like 2 seconds for you guys, but it'll be like 2 minutes for me. You guys. No, he just needed to go pee, and then he went right back into his little crate and was like, "I'm gonna sleep here, Dad." And I was like, "Okay, you do that." But yeah, so that is all of the episodes I've gone over. I know some of them I just kind of said the name of, but I don't know. It's been interesting. It's been a journey, y'all. It's been how do I describe this? It has been a lot of fun, but at the same time, it has been a challenge to navigate how to handle, I guess, the internet, how to manage my time so I can be productive at work, be a good dad, be a good husband, and create good enough content that people are interested in it. Because at the end of the day, I am still very like I want to make something good. I don't want to just like give you guys slop. Be like, yeah, here you go. Yeah, let's eat this shit. Which unfortunately I feel like I have well, maybe this just might be my own like self-esteem coming through, where I just kind of don't feel great about some of the stuff I do. Oh man, and like when I was like sleep deprived, one of those weeks, because of the new puppy and just having to try and help him get potty trained and get everything ready for him. Got so paranoid. I was like, everyone hates me. Oh my god, they probably think I'm such an asshole. And man, I don't know. After that though, and after I just kind of took a step back, I'm like, well, I mean, even if they did hate you, who cares? Like, I know where I'm coming from. I know what I'm doing. I know who I am, and I'm, it's like it's fine to take risks. It's fine to like, ask for stuff, and it's okay to get told no. So, and it's like I know that. I mean, I do that daily for my job. I don't know, man. I think I just got so in my head about so many stuff, and I'm gonna say like 80% of it was just sleep deprivation and paranoia. So it's yeah, I don't know. I feel like the show is fun, and I have a good time doing it. I am really excited for Ancient Tabletops. I feel like I'm gonna have a lot of fun doing that, and it's gonna be much more YouTube oriented because of the way I grew up and like the content like I watched and stuff as a kid is definitely going to be influencing how I do some of this. But at the same time, it's still going to have like that history interest, which is like I've always loved history. I've loved when I was in second grade, I have a little note to myself saying I want to be an archaeologist because I was obsessed with Indiana Jones. And man, second grade Tyler would be pissed at Tyler today because I'm not an archaeologist yet. So, sorry, little me. You're not an archaeologist, but you still have a good interest in history. You love history, so that's a good thing. But yeah, so I've always just loved history. I love battles, and doing this has been a ton of fun for me. I love making jokes. I love making content too. It's just fun, and I think more people, honestly, if you have wanted to, don't do it thinking you're gonna make money because like there's no way in hell making money off of this show for years. But do it if you have something that you love doing and you're passionate about it and you want to share that with people. And that's essentially the goal of this channel, right? It's just to share with people my passion for history, my love for these historical events or legends or stories in history, and to talk about it, to go over it. Oh, poor guy, he might want out again. Well, I think if he wants out, I might end the episode a little early. But the future of this channel, what I'm gonna focus on, besides like again Ancient Tabletops, which will take a long time to make. I'm already planning on that taking like a year, maybe even 2 years for me to produce like the first set of episodes to have to release on like a monthly basis. So that way, when time comes to record, produce, and shoot like the next couple episodes, I'll have that time to do all that. Because that's one thing I realized with this show that I should have done earlier is I should have just like written, shot, and gotten everything ready for like just a whole bunch of like episodes. Been way ahead, so that way I didn't have to worry about, oh shit, it's Sunday. We gotta get this all done. We gotta make sure like this is typed up. We gotta make sure this and this and this is done. And I think for the future, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick a topic that I'm interested in. And every now and then I think I'll pick a topic that I think the algorithm or like other people will be interested in too. But as long as I still have some interest in it, it's going to be good. And then I'm going to dig up as much info as I can find through like news, paper online, and like other resources where I can just read the articles myself. And just give like much more detail about events and how things were, transpiring on like a day-to-day or like month-to-month basis, like I did in the Lavinia Fisher episode, because I feel like I did a pretty damn good job on that one. And again, most of it again was thanks to the 6 Miles to Charleston. Again, Bruce Orr. Sorry if it felt like I was just straight up using you, but I kind of was, because like no one else had all the articles that you did. And I mean, like, I kind of retold the book in a way, but at the same time, I feel like I definitely put my own spin on things. Gave it my own kind of like insight or view into things, how ridiculous some shit was that was done to the Fishers. So I want to do more stuff like that. I want to, but instead of having to pull it from a book, I want to pull it myself if possible. Unfortunately, some of that stuff costs money on a monthly basis, which is fine. I mean, like, I probably, there's a couple of things monthly that I pay for that I definitely don't need to pay for, and that I think I could probably just like transition away from. I'm like, okay, this is a need, and while like the newspaper stuff is also, well, it's not a need, but this is a want. And while the newspaper online or like other subscription stuff is also a want, it's like I want to make the show, like I want this more for my show than I want the other things, like, I don't necessarily really want to like play video games all the time. Like I barely have time for video games. So if I'm like paying for like a subscription pass there, just, be smart with your money. That's all I have to do. I don't know why I'm talking about this like out loud right now, but I am. I probably need to take my medicine. I have ADHD. If you can't tell, guys, comes out, comes out randomly. Like right now. But yeah, I'm excited to continue the show. I'm excited to keep this up. I'm planning on keeping this up for forever. I don't know. Again, this is something that I like doing. I'm figuring out more ways to make the show better, make it more entertaining and more fact-based, or more researched, a lot more well researched than it probably has been for you guys. So that's my goal, and that's something I will do. I promise you guys. And I don't know, for those of you that are listening to today's episode and cared to give it a listen, thank you. You guys are the real ones. I appreciate it. I love the fact that you love what I do. Without you guys, because I'll be honest, if like absolutely zero people listened to the show and gave a shit about it, it'd be hard. It'd be hard to keep it up past a year's worth of content. But because you guys are here and you are listening to it, and I mean, again, I had the one episode that really popped off, and I'm pretty certain I can do it again. But I'm more than certain. I have an idea of like how to do it, and like I just need to. Again, it's just a lot of research and time that goes into like looking at like, okay, so like this is trending at this time. This is when people are looking at that. Okay, what does this content creator do? Okay, they're doing this at this time, and so it's just being strategic, planning on when to release certain things, and it's just a lot of work. And I want to put that work in and have more time for that. And if you guys want to see me do that, I mean, one way you can do is to support on Patreon. I'll probably get used to, pay for like a monthly subscription for some research thing, or fuck, I don't know if Dan Cummins has like researchers that he hires. Oh man, if I could do that, or if I could find some like college student that just like needs to write college papers anyways and is like willing to share their research with me, I think I'll do that. But man, shit, it'd be hard. I had to be making quite a bit to like hire someone like for a full-time job. So until then, it's gonna be primarily me, and that's what I'm planning on doing. So but it would be a lot easier if I could just have someone be like, okay, here's this and this and this, and put it into like a little timeline for me, so that I can be like, okay, read through this, and then I can edit this. Okay, talk about this here. Like move this point down over here. Cut this out because it's not intrinsic to like an overall storytelling plot. And that's what I tried to do with the 6 Miles to Charleston book. Is like I broke it down into like just the Lavinia and John Fisher parts, and to like try to like just tell their story and focus on their story. Whereas Bruce Orr kind of like brings like everyone and like shows how like everyone's tied together, which is how history works. Everyone is sort of like tied together, and there's a lot of strings that pull on other strings in history. So again, and it was a really good book. If you guys want to give it a read, 6 Miles Charleston, it's like $14. Or like maybe even cheaper online. I don't know. I got the hardback edition because I like feeling stuff when I read it. Like the Wheel of Time books. Got all my Wheel of Time books and all big thick boys, and there's something about like feeling the page turn as you're reading. I like it. It feels so great. Big hardcover. I like killing trees. Apparently, I'm a big old tree killer. That's what I am. So, oh gosh, I was gonna end because of the puppy, but he seems to have calmed down. He might have just been like, "Oh, I'm sad," and I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna go to sleep." He does that quite a bit. He's a coonhound, so he's got that in him. And oh man, like I thought it was gonna be cute and it would be kind of fun, like when he was hunting, like to take him out hunting later. But my God, sometimes at night it's like, it's like, buddy, I'm so sleepy, but okay, I'll come down and like make you feel better. So anyway, sorry, I'm all over the place right now. But basically for you fans that are listening still, I will be continuing the show. Don't worry, this is not like when I'm saying we're gonna have a conversation. People take it so seriously sometimes. And I think it's because of like the way I say it. I definitely need to do better about like how I say things. But having a conversation about the show just really meant like I just wanted to talk about where I'm at, where the show's at, how we're doing, because we've definitely seen some growth in terms of like, we're getting more downloads, a lot more consistent. I think we're like averaging, discounting Jin and Protego, we're averaging like 200-300 downloads a month, which is, that's pretty decent. I mean, for 4 episodes, that's like, well, it's not almost 100 episodes per 100 downloads per episode, but 300 divided by 4. That I want to do math right now. 8, 9 times. No, it's not 9 times. Gosh, 8 times. 6 times 4 is 7 times, and then gosh, my brain. Why is my brain just like not wanting to work? Like 70 something. It's like 70 something downloads a month. So per episode, which is not quite true because the downloads kind of spread across a bunch of the other episodes too, and then I'll get like pick up a follower here and there. And I think the best way to determine growth is just how new episodes perform, and then like how many new followers we get, and that's still growing. I think once each new release starts getting to like that 50 plus mark continuously, I think that's when I'll know like, okay, I'm probably like on the right path, and what I'm doing is picking up. For right now, I think we're at like a 15 to 20 for sure on like a new release, and then other episodes will pick up like the remaining like 40 or so, which I don't know if that's like normal or like average for like a newer show or like podcast, but so with that trend, and then with like YouTube getting more subscribers, and just Hard Homies. Oh, man, Hard Homies is so much fun. If you guys haven't checked out that show, guys, please do. I do that with my buddies, my buddies that have been friends with you guys. Hey guys, sorry, the audio got like super weird in one of the recordings, and so I'm just doing this real quick just to say goodbye. I think I was talking about Hard Homies. If you'd like that, please go check it out. I know that's not for everybody. I talked about some other stuff towards the end, so maybe I'll get like the video upload of that last part put onto YouTube. So if you guys are interested, you can check that out. Because I don't know what the hell is happening on Adobe, but like I put the file in, I converted the file, and then like it cut at one point and then repeated at another point. Now I'm a little worried that happened with some of my other previous episodes, because I've been recording on OBS, getting the video file, and then converting it in Adobe just to like an audio file. And I went and listened to like all the other clips, and none of the other clips seem to like repeat themselves. So I'm hoping that's not the case. But if it is, I'm a little freaked out. And I might just go back to recording in Audition, and then recording the video separately. So that might be what I end up having to do. But that's all. I love you guys. Seriously, thank you so much for supporting me and for supporting the show. And you're the reason why I continue to do this. So seriously, thank you. Love you guys. Bye.